Hey, everybody. Let's go. Let's go. We are back with another review episode. I am your girl, Maxine, and this is Review with Me, a feature of Built Like This podcast. So make sure you check out my podcast, also available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But let's go ahead and get into this episode here. It's been a minute, y'all. I know. I did say I will be I will be away, and that's why I'm a little bit late. But we're here now. I'm back from my vacation, and that was a good time. But let's go ahead and get into business. I just finished watching Married at First Sight, season 18, episode 19, reunion episode 1. This episode was pretty mature, I would say. And I feel like kudos need to be given. I think this is what happens when you allow yourself to move on. This is what happens when you allow yourself to forgive, forget, and live instead of festering in the negative emotions and dwelling in what took place the year prior with these folks. I see a lot of them, almost every one of them have moved on with their lives, and it's great to see. So I want to give them a shout out, a kudos, all of that. I think that's really amazing to see. But of course, it's the reunion, so you have to rehash what took place and kind of just hold people to the line of fire. So let's go ahead and get into it. Kevin Frazier is again our host for this evening. No, but he's been hosting the reunion episodes for a minute now. I don't know how many seasons it's been of him hosting, but it's been a while. I know initially people were like, really, we should get someone else. But I think he has a great way of making things professional, but still a bit straightforward. Like I think he knows how to make the cast feel comfortable in sharing their feelings and their takes. And looking at how Akechi behaved throughout this reunion episode, I feel like had it been anyone else, had it been a woman, right? Even had it been Keisha Knight Pullum, right? We know Keisha Knight Pullum is the one hosting the after party episodes. I think it would not have showed as well, right? It would not have played out as well as it has with Kevin Frazier in the balance that it is between men, right? The balance that it is between Kevin Frazier and Akechi. That's just my opinion. And I know we don't like Akechi. I know he's been, he was rightfully dragged throughout this season, but you got to give credit where credit is due. And I think this episode, he demonstrated maturity. He demonstrated growth. And there were moments, and we'll get to it in a moment. There were moments when I felt like he did not own. He just he just apologized to kind of move on. He didn't own, and let's just go ahead and just get into it. So anyway, Kevin Frazier is our host. He starts off by saying, this is going to be a therapy session. This is going to be a cleansing. And I was like, okay, you better set the tone. Set the tone. Carla tells us that there are separate group chats amongst everyone in this group. So basically alluding to the fact that Madison and Michelle aren't in the same group chat. And yet, Alan and David aren't the same. You know what I mean? So like everyone is in a group chat with at least 2 other people in this cast, but not everyone is in that same group chat. So that's just that was real. I thought that was a real response. I thought that was actually accurate to how people are in real life, right? Like some people just don't fuck with other people, but we all happen to be in the same friend group. So what we're going to do is kind of accommodate. And there we have it, separate group chats. So we get to Camille and Thomas. They are very much still married, and that's lovely to see. Camille's doing her whole trying to kind of play him like he better be happy or whatever joke it was. And what I liked in that moment, Kevin Frazier called her out. He's like, okay, you can stop that. Like, you can stop doing that. And she actually admitted, okay, all right, I'll stop. Right? Okay, all right. So it was evident that she was aware that she did that a lot. It was evident that she was aware that she needed to stop. And so she did. We get to Michelle. I did not know that she was 40, or she just turned 40 at the time of that recording. And happy birthday to her. Happy birthday to her. A lot of these people are definitely well within their, what's interesting, the contrast between Michelle and Madison. Madison, remember, I think it was 2 episodes ago, David celebrated her 30th birthday. So she's 30 while Michelle just turned 40. So you see the difference in how they handle each other and how they handle situations and how they communicate. And I believe David is around Madison's age as well. So all in all, I feel like everyone is with who they need to be with, period. And just like what Michelle said later on in this episode, in this reunion episode, it's not that she's angry that Madison and David are together. It's just how they went about it. The lying, the constant lying is what angered her. And I find that to be very fair to say. We know very well Michelle was nasty towards David. She was judgmental. All of that is very well and true, but she is warranted in her feelings, and I agree with how she expressed them. So to see the contrast in age and realizing, oh wow, there is a big difference between the two, it makes sense. It makes sense. We learned that Amem and her fiance, I forgot his name at the time of me writing this down, but then I learned it later. Brandon. His name is Brandon. Okay, so I remember now. Amem and Brandon are still together, so good for them. They've been together for a year now, and she said they've been celebrating their love. She feels loved. This whole time throughout this episode, she's like, I don't know what's going on her neck. Her and Carla, they be having these neck things, but maybe just not too much on MM anymore. Not too much. She's happy. She's in love. And you can see it in her face. You can see it in Amem's face. Amem is happy. Amem is at peace. She's not at war. She feels light. It appears, I think she is even more receptive to express her feelings at that. There's a maturity in her. There's a glowingness in her. That's a word. But you see that, and that is evident. She also mentioned that her and Brandon, her now fiance, is like, they've been together for a year and they've gone through ups and downs. And look, that is normal, right? There are relationships, like every relationship goes through ups and downs, but that just made me interested to know, like, what downs did y'all go through in a year? Like, isn't that still a honeymoon phase? But whatever. This is reality. We have ups and downs regardless of how little of a time we've been together. And I think that shows growth with their relationship, because initially, we met them, or we met him rather, very quickly. They got engaged very quickly. Things just rushed very fast. It was a rush. And to finally see how things are coexisting, like things are mending, like things are blending well between them. She mentions that he's like, she's blended into his family, vice versa, so she's familiar with his kids. Because we learned, that was one of my questions, like, okay, what is the logistics here? Like, we know he just went through a divorce, or he's not even went through, he was undergoing a divorce. He was living on his mama's couch, or his sister's couch, and it was just all these things that didn't appear favorable, yet they're still together. They're working through it, and I think that's commendable. I know people want to hate. Look, I'm even here for Madison and David, y'all. At some point, we have to let the anger go. We have to let it go, y'all. We have to, because love wins. I'm serious. Love wins, and it is clear the love that they have for each other, the excitement, the peace. They're so happy together. David, I'm just jumping right into David and Madison real quick. They're really in love. And I think if you want to stand strong and be stubborn about your hate for them because of how they went about it, you're the hater. That's it. You're the one who's the hater, and you're the one who can't get over it. You're the one who can't live your life. And there's a lot of people out here who's also saying things like, oh, they're not going to last. Oh, this is just lust. You sound like a hater still. Let these people be happy in love. And if it does fizzle out, then it fizzles out. But to take time and say they're not gonna last, look at them, it's just, bonded over misery, because I know Madison mentions that in this episode. I feel like you're a hater. And I'm not saying I condone how they went about it. They said themselves they could have dealt with it differently, but they are so steadfast in their love for each other that they said, I don't regret falling in love with him. I don't regret falling in love with her. I don't regret following my heart. That right there was deep to me. It was deep to me. And there are things you do for love that may appear as if, or you may very well misalign your integrity. You may demonstrate yourself as an untrustworthy person, but ultimately you realize this is for something that will matter for my life. Like, this is my life. This is real life. This is my life. Madison said I'm going a little all over the place, but just follow along. Madison mentions that she didn't like how Michelle said, I'm calling you out on TV because we're on a reality show. Madison saying, oh, well, this is my life. This isn't a reality show. First of all, sorry, I'm mumbling. I'm getting excited. It's both. It's a reality show and it's your life. So let's not too much on Michelle. Not too much on Michelle, okay? She's giving us a show. I'm grateful for how Michelle handled it. Y'all want to handle things behind the camera. What? Why did you sign up for a reality show if you don't want to tell me the reality of what's going on? And if that makes you look a little foolish in our eyes, if that makes you appear as a whore or someone who doesn't have integrity, so what? You say you're following your heart, right? Stand on it. So I didn't like that she was making Michelle out to seem as someone who is fake and phony, and I'm doing things for the reality show. No, we're on a show. Thank you for producing. And it's not like they're producing. This is a part of a show. It's not like you gotta be Camille sitting all back like no. Film a show. Yes, I want to be entertained. Okay, where are we? We find out that David is no longer living in his mama's basement. He is now living with Madison at her home. I forgot where she lives though. I know she lives in her own place, but okay. The way that he said it was just like, no, I'm living at her place. Like, first of all, why didn't y'all just say, why couldn't it have been said where we're living together, we bought a place together, right? Whether it's an apartment or a house, we're living together. But he said, no, I'm not living in my mama's house. I'm living in my girl's house. So you still don't have a house? Anyway, we find out again something else about him, that he has bought a home, is an investment property. And I want to say kudos to David. David said he was going to do that, and he did it. Let's not act like that's not something to applaud. It is. He said he was going to do something, and guess what? He did it. And sometimes people don't like to hear, oh, this is what I'm about to do. This is what I'm about to do. They just want to see the fruit, right? They just want to see the creation. They don't want to see you building. They don't want to see you preparing. They don't want to see that, because sometimes it could appear as all talk. But in this case, we see that it worked out. And I think it's because David appears to be the type of guy who he needs to have a woman with him or by his side to feel motivated. And some people may not find that attractive. Hey, to each their own. Some people need external motivations. That just is what it is. So regardless of how he got the investment property, whether it's from Madison's help, because I know Madison I think allegedly she comes from money. Her dad has money and she grew up with the privilege of that. She kind of alluded that throughout the season. So I think there's something there. So all in all, I say kudos to David for buying his investment home. I'm sure Madison had some help there, but I think that's awesome to applaud. Both of them are still being stingy in the details when it comes to the timeline of their relationship. Now, again, stand on it. Stand on business. Y'all together, right? He's living in your house, right? Because that's how he worded it. I'm living in her house. Stand on it. Okay, we started talking innocently the first 2 weeks and it progressed since then. That's it. Now, you don't have to tell us the first day y'all had sex. You don't have to be that raunchy. That's fine. But you could just say, hey, we did started talking initially within the first 2 weeks, and I realized, wow, this is the woman who I want to be with, or that I definitely want to see where things go. And we've been continuing this friendship at the time for the next, few weeks. But they keep saying it started in the gym. It started in the gym. Madison says later that the routine for them would be every day they will go to the gym at 6 or 6:30 in the morning. Every day. That was clockwork. That was their date. And that's why David kept saying it started in the gym. It started in the gym. It started in the gym. So anyway, Alan gets to, we've hung out. We went to the bar. At that point, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me that? David doesn't really have much to say. Then Kevin Frazier, he shows a never before seen footage of Madison talking crap about Michelle. This was during the retreat from hell. Madison talking about, I don't have anything to hide. I don't have anything to hide. And she weaponizes Michelle's age, saying she's about to be 40 and she's acting like this. She's so immature. Also, again, says that she wishes Michelle would have had this conversation with her off camera. And then that's at that point when Michelle said, well, this is a reality show. Again, it is a reality show. It's both. It's your reality and it's a show. So I do want to be entertained. I don't like things being done off camera. I want y'all to have body cams at this point. I want to see what's going on every day. And I want the editors to splice it up. I want the producers to produce it up. And I want a show every day. Every day. That's how I want it to be. I don't want scenes that y'all are putting together. I want body cams. I want intimate moments. I want all of that. So I'm happy Michelle is doing it for the reality. But anyway, Madison's trying to act like Michelle is fake or phony for saying that. So now Kevin Frazier, he talks to couple by couple. He starts off with let's circle back real quick. So David and Madison, yeah, they said they talked every day. After the whole transactional comment was made by Alan to Madison, that was when Madison started talking to David more intimately and started venting to him, because at that point they already built a friendship. And I guess she felt very comfortable to share her issues with Alan. Thomas says he feels stupid believing David and defending him, coming to find out that all along David was lying. Akechi said he saw the chemistry between David and Madison from day one. He saw it at the gym. He said David doesn't even do cardio, and he was doing cardio for Madison. And he was saying how, like, well, David was doing things that he wouldn't normally do, and he was just unfolding and just kind of becoming a newer person as he was growing this friendship and this relationship with Madison. And I think that says a lot. Oftentimes when we are in a relationship with someone, whether it's in the beginning stages or whatnot, you find yourself kind of growing into something that you wasn't, or something that you didn't know how to grow into, right? Maybe you find yourself more trusting, or maybe you're finding yourself to be more adventurous, more open, whatever that looks like. and it comes out because of the other person. So I think, again, that kind of speaks to their love. Hello? It kind of speaks to their love. You know, if you are finding yourself very comfortable and challenged in a positive way, right? You find yourself growing with someone. That's love right there. And I don't care what anyone says. Sure, again, they may not have done it in a way that's preferred, but they follow their heart. What's their name? You know how names have to merge together when, you know, how Benifer was a thing. What should be their name? Davison, David and Madison. That sounds whack. Never mind. All right, so we got to Kevin Frazier talking to Camille and Thomas. So he's going through couple by couple. I'm gonna rush through this part because boring. Even though we do want to praise the couples the couple that actually said yes to each other on decision day. Okay, so Camille and Thomas, they're saying things have been going really steady for them. They celebrated their 1-year anniversary by going to London and really being a tourist. Thomas says once he saw Camille and got to know her, he realized that she has the complete package, that she is someone who he wants to build with. Camille says basically that she built the swag in Thomas, you know, in her own words, but she's making the point that she saw it in him all along and she just wanted to bring it out of him. She makes a point that she wants to give him praises because he was very open and just receptive to her wanting to mold him to the swaggy type of man that she desired. And I do appreciate that Thomas is easy keen. I don't know if they'll get into in the next episode, but there was a point in the previews that Thomas was about to cry, or he was crying. You know, Thomas always crying. But nonetheless, they kind of get into the whole racial identity conversation of it all. Thomas says that he doesn't believe in the caricature of a black man. You know, like black people aren't a monolith. And I think this conversation could have been handled better because Camille didn't give an apology or give a clarification about how she went about her questioning the blackness or lack thereof in Thomas. I don't think Kevin Frazier did a good job in this moment, really kind of holding her to the fire gently enough, at least. It just kind of it came and gone. It came and went. It came and went. It came and went. Camille said again, you know, she praised him for his receptiveness to her feedback. But Thomas being so easy keen, and he initially saw a complete package in Camille that, of course, he was going to do whatever she wanted. I think had Thomas been someone who was a bit more, I don't want to say aggressive, but a bit more just kind of standing strong, just kind of masculine in that sense, just like dominant. That's the word. If he was more dominant, I don't think the conversation would have been what it was, right? Like, I don't think Camille would have gotten away with her antics of questioning his blackness. The topic of the lingerie came about. Even Kevin Frazier pointed out, like, I thought this lingerie was a myth. Yeah, I thought so too, Kevin. We all did. And then it actually still was a myth because Camille came out with this robe. Camille, what? They talk about how they have a great conflict resolution style between them. They even showed, I wish they actually would, I wish they would have given an example of conflicts that they resolved. Because what exactly I've never seen them argue. I've never seen them really tackle or show discomfort while tackling uncomfortable conversations, like the whole black enough conversation. I still think Thomas kind of let her get away with fire. I don't think he told her, hey, you know, I think the way you're going about it is offensive to me. I don't think he did any of that. So, but okay, I guess they have good conflict resolution. I think their conflict resolution is Thomas acquiescing to whatever Camille wants. And hey, I guess that works for some people. Some people really believe, some couples really believe happy wife, happy life. And I don't subscribe to that mindset. I think it should be happy spouse, happy house, because you should care about what the husband cares about as well. Like the happiness, the peace in the home should not only be dependent upon the wife. The husband's peace should be cared for as well. So anyway, let's move on. Let's get to Amem and Akechi, child. Hold on. So Amem and Akechi, they're talking. And Akechi is giving us words, y'all. He's giving us complete sentences. He's giving us an open mind, an open heart. I'm gonna give Akechi kudos. This whole episode has been a clapathon for me. I am very much impressed with how well these people are handling these conversations and each other. There's a level of maturity and there's a level of just simply moving on. We learned earlier on, I forgot to mention that Alan, he has a girlfriend. He actually is in a relationship with a woman who he matched with or he went on a date with once, and they were about to go on a second date, or they did go on a second date. No, they were about to go on a second date. She didn't actually agree to a second date until last minute. And last minute meaning the day before he was about to get married to Madison. Okay, so anyway, the point is everyone has moved on, and it's lovely to see. And this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when people move on. So anyway, we get to Amem and Akechi. Amem starts off by telling us how the wedding day was warm. No, the wedding day was fun because she has a warm and inviting energy. And I noticed in this moment, we see Akechi rolled his eyes and smirked. Why did he do that? I think this was a moment for Amem to say and stand on the fact that she is warm. She is inviting. Nothing about her shows that you have to walk on eggshells. Nothing about her means you have to be icy or cold towards her. And I think Akechi rolled his eyes because, he alluded and said outright that she was the opposite of that. So Amem was like, "Nah, hold on. I'm warm and I'm inviting. Cut that out." They said, like, and we see this never before seen. A lot of this episode is a lot of never before seen footages, and we see between them they are like in this like private cam talking about how they're getting to know each other and the vibe is right and they're the center of all the couples, and you see like, oh, there's chemistry there. It looks to be going well. But they said they both agreed that once they hit Chicago, once they touched down Chicago, that's when things went left. That's when things went downhill. And I think it's because, when you're on this high from the wedding, from the honeymoon, right? Vacation always makes things great. It makes things better, and these high, excitable moments make things even more vibey, if you know what I mean. Like, of course the energy is gonna be right. Of course we're gonna have fun. We're in Aruba, we're in Bahamas, we're in the Dominican Republic, right? We're on vacation. But they said as soon as we touched Chicago, as soon as we got to the apartment, the shared apartment, things went left. We learned that Akechi, I'm kind of jumping around, but Akechi says that he never was attracted to her. Hello? Isai? He said he was never attracted to a mem. He was never attracted to a mem. And that speaks to why he did not want things to progress sexually. Akechi admits to being stubborn. He said that his use of the word aggressive was the wrong word. What he really meant to say was she's a go-getter. She gets things done. And I think that's a bunch of crock. And what I mean by that is he could very much he could have meant that, right? I think he does mean that she is a go-getter. That is apparent. But we're talking in the respects of the budding relationship between them at the time. He used words that were specific to that. So aggressive, that doesn't equate to, oh, you're a go-getter. You go after what you want. You're like, how does that mean aggressive? So for him to be this creative, this wordsmith, whatever he calls himself, I find that to be laughable because, sir, that's a wrong choice of word. And he admits that. He admits that and apologizes for it. And look, I think throughout this reunion, Akechi is about just apologizing and moving on. He's not even trying to conjure up enough energy to be all angry or whatnot. So we move on to Amem. Amem felt belittled by Akechi. She said this. She said throughout the marriage, it felt like he was trying to make her feel small. It felt like he was, trying to belittle her primarily because of the career that she has. And she said that has been her experience, unfortunately. And that has been her experience in this marriage. She also mentioned that there were mixed signals between them. Akechi was the one who initiated sexual contact, and you see Akechi rolling his eyes. And then later on he said how he wasn't attracted to her. I felt like that was a dig too. I felt like he was trying to say that, well, I wasn't attracted to you. Okay. And here's the thing, two things could be true. He could have very well not have been attracted to her and still, I mean, we saw the footage. I know a man was not lying. But two things could be true. He's not attracted to her and he still initiated contact that was sexual. So why is that? I think it's because people are, I don't want to put this on men. I was going to say men will be men, but people are people. When there is someone in your proximity who has cool enough energy, like we're vibing just enough in this moment here. Okay, let's see what that mouth do. Let's see what that hand do. And that's what it was. So I think that's just what it was. These things do happen and it is unfortunate, but mixed signals are nothing new. People do that all the time. People, day one, we're vibing well, we're getting along. It seems like we're both on the same page. And the next thing you know, oh, I'm actually not that into you. And that's a sucky feeling. But we get so caught up in the high of things, right? Whether it's alcohol, any other substance abuse, or whether it's going on a vacation where we're in a honeymoon, we're at a honeymoon, we're at a wedding, our wedding, right? We have these circumstances that are external that would contribute to you being high and in this vibe that could naturally lead to, let me go ahead and put your hand on my dick. That is normal, and mixed signals are very relatable. These things happen. Nonetheless, Amem was not, what's the word? She was not hurt by that. Amem is engaged. She is, I felt like Amem, was she on a sedative? Amem was chilling with her neck like, yeah, I'm very much in love, and my fiance, her neck, Amem was out of it. When I tell you, Amem was out of it. Anyway, Akechi said he meant no disrespect and he apologized. And I just felt like his apology, I think some words had weight to them, but some words felt empty. I really do. I feel like he just wasn't as, he didn't own up to some things. Like, you apologizing doesn't necessarily mean you own up to it. Because he kept saying, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Or, hey, your feelings are valid, but that's not true. And it's like, no, it was true. You was like, in that moment, you was mad. In that moment, you lashed out on her. In that moment, you said nasty things to her. And that was not okay. You apologized. You know what I mean? Like, so again, there were moments when his apology did carry weight, but then there were some moments when I felt like his apology was empty. I felt like his apology was empty sometimes. So Amem got to the whole point of, I wish you nothing but the worst. She says she meant it then, but she does not mean it now. And she realized that it was harsh for her to say that. And I respect that. I think that's very, again, is mature. Amem is in love and she's happy and she got her an upcoming husband. Okay. Amem's like, look, I ain't got time to. I apologize. I'm sorry. I wish nothing but the best. Hey, it is what it is. let me get on with my husband now. My new husband. Akachi says he was not ready for this experiment, but he is still ready for a wife. Akachi, I don't know who this wife of yours will be, but he keeps referencing Michelle Obama. I never met a black man, a straight black man, reference Michelle Obama as the epitome of my woman, my wife. Like that's never been a thing. Like, do you like the accolades or the idealism of her? Like, are you attracted to Michelle Obama than you are or than you were with Amem? Like, no shot to either one. But the point is, Michelle Obama. When you think of Michelle Obama, you think of maybe her wit, not her wit, but like her great word choice, right? She knows how to deliver a speech. She's a great orator, just like her husband. She comes across intelligent and well put together. Is that what you're thinking of when you think of your wife? Or do you think of someone who is sexy, who is respectable, who you're attracted to? Because again, Akechi chimes on the whole, I wasn't attracted to a mem. So are you attracted to Michelle Obama? Is Michelle Obama someone you're attracted to? It's a weird. I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't know. I don't buy it, y'all. Let's move on. Tell me what you think about that. Go ahead and leave that in the comments. Alan and Madison is now the couple facing Kevin Frazier here. They talk about the wedding day. It was a fun day, but Madison admitted that she got in her head a lot. She knew instantly that she was struggling with her attraction for this man, and she felt uncomfortable with him a lot. And Alan was like confused, like, what do you mean by uncomfortable? Like, what exactly did you feel uncomfortable by? And she didn't really, it wasn't something that he did necessarily. It was just how she felt. She felt uncomfortable with how she dealt with the reality of not being attracted to him and only seeing him as a friend. And she felt uncomfortable with admitting that and sharing that. Alan said he felt like if she was solely focused on him, things may have been different. He knows though that on paper they made a good match, but the reality wasn't present, right? Like the chemistry wasn't there. She wasn't that into him, and that was evident. But he said, like, because this is the experiment of going through these 8 weeks together and really trying in this marriage, he was committed to that. But unfortunately, she wasn't. And that's the betrayal that he was feeling. He said, had this not been an experiment, right? Had they just been dating in real life, he would have noticed, okay, she's not that into me. He would have moved on. And I like that he made that point. Like, look, I wasn't blind or dumb to the fact that you wasn't into me. But I was committed to this process well enough that I was still trying to put in the work in. And that was the betrayal that he felt, because he felt like that's what, that was what he was owed. He was owed the commitment because that's what they signed up for. I think he explained that very well. Madison again says that, she doesn't necessarily regret how things turned out because she found love with David, and David's a great guy, and look, love who you love. But she says she does admit to communicating poorly with Alan in the whole situation, so she does regret that. She also said that she questioned at a time if her and David bonded over misery, right? Respectively, they suffered in their marriage. They weren't happy with who they got matched with. So they bonded together over that. So she questioned, like, is this vibe, is this chemistry that she feels and sees with David true? Or is this just something that is a result of bonding over misery? Alan said he would have still hit the cabinet because he was hurt. And I applaud his honesty here, because again, we try to act like it's not okay for people to feel emotions and to feel hurt. He didn't hurt anybody. He hurt a cabinet. Let that cabinet be. It's fine. He's fine. I think it's fine. Like, we have to create space for that. Just like how we have these rooms where you could go to that you pay for. Like, I think it's called rec rooms. I don't know. There's a specific name for it, but you'll literally just smash things in the room, break things up. And I think people use that as therapy, as a way to let it go, lash out, and move on. And that's what Alan did, but it wasn't in a certified room or whatever. Nonetheless, I'm happy that Alan said, and I'll do it again. I'll smack the cabinet again, and you're not gonna make me feel bad about it. Juan, I feel like Kevin Frazier was Juan in that moment. Like, sir, bye. Alan's new girlfriend apparently said to Madison that she would love to meet her. Is it to square up? Like, why did she say that to her? Or why did Madison said that she said that? Like, that was a weird thing to say. Like, okay, girl. The image that we see of, because they show a picture of Alan with his new girlfriend, and from the hair, it appeared that she's probably wearing box braids like mine, but her face is blurred out. So, okay, girl, we'll respect your privacy, but are you a black woman or nah? I could see Alan with a black woman though. So hey, shout out to him. You better love a black woman. We get to Kevin Frazier talking to all of the women, and they give like their superlatives. Camille is the one who is seen as the best advice giver. And I think that matches because she was identified as a parentified child when she was younger. And she's someone who, even as an adult, she doesn't take sides. She says she cares for everyone and she wants the best for everyone. So she doesn't stand on strong opinions. She's very even keel. And I think that is someone who is great to talk to in that sense. even though I'm just like, oh girl, pick an opinion and stand on it and be harsh with it. But not everyone's like that. So I can understand how she was given best advice giver for this superlative. Carla was seen as the life of the party. Excuse me. And Madison was also seen as the life of the party. Madison's life of the party because she likes to drink. She takes shots, have fun, just like her mom. And Carla is her energy. Her energy makes her the life of the party. They said a few others about them. I don't really care. Mem says she felt support from all of the women when Brandon proposed to her. She said none of the women said to her, girl, what are you doing? But I don't know. She just didn't watch the show back, or she didn't care, because Carla and Michelle definitely was like, girl, what are you doing? But okay, hey, love is love. Madison says she actually did appreciate the accountability from the women, which, again, I think is just a mature response. I don't know if she really means that. Michelle goes into saying how she thinks the truth will never be told. She also references to the trash talking video that Madison said about her. Madison then apologizes. She didn't apologize really earlier about that, but she does now, or she did now in this moment. And it seems like she had her defenses down, which I could appreciate. I think it just is a result of her being happy and in love with David. Like, again, I think love is showing up in the lives of these people. And that explains why many of them are reacting with such maturity and growth. We get to Michelle and David. They're the ones who are now meeting with Kevin Frazier one-on-one or two-on-one. They admit to never having a chance to really talk after everything went down. I mean, I don't know what else needs to be said. David has had moments, he tried to steal moments telling her, hey, I apologize, I apologize, I apologize. But Michelle wasn't having it. So I didn't really see a point of them having yet another sit down. Right now is a great time to do it on the show, because we're on a reality TV show. So yeah, don't do it behind the scenes. I want to see it right now. Right now. We all didn't we talk about the commitment ring? So David and Madison actually got rings for each other. It's not a proposal. It's not a proposal to to engagement, to get married yet. But that is that's down the line. Apparently, they seem to be going really strong. They're very much in love with each other, and the rings that they got for each other are commitment rings. Basically, they're committed in this love with each other. I guess they felt like, look, we started off kind of shaky, cheating on our spouses. So let's clean this up. That's what I feel like. But hey, love is love. Michelle wished she would have reacted differently when it came to how she judged David living in his basement. But her point is, she said that, look, she knows that she's about to be 40, because at the time she was like 38, 39. And she just couldn't imagine being with a man who was living in his mother's basement. So she was very just opposed to the possibility, because she's not at that age anymore. It'll be one thing if she was 30, right? Again, Madison is much younger. She is 10 years her junior. So it would make sense why a Madison would be more open or understanding or forgiving of that. But Michelle's not at that space anymore. She has matured. She is much older. So she would want someone who is more established. And I can't fault her for it. I think, again, yes, her way of reaction, the way she went about it was poor, but I don't think her reaction was bad or unwarranted. What else? So Michelle emphasizes that she was not angry that Madison and David are together. It's just, again, about how they went about it. She doesn't feel like the timeline between David and Madison is accurate from how they tell the cast. There are some things that just aren't being told, she feels like, and she feels like only David and Madison know the truth. And it's their business at this point. It's their business. They don't want us to know. She thinks the times that Madison came in late is a result of Madison being with David. And she thinks the physical relationship that they was had before the food text, the whole "you look so good, I want to eat you up" text. Maybe in the second episode, I try not to watch the previews of the next episode, but maybe in the next episode, we'll see more honesty when it comes to the timeline. But I agree with Michelle. I don't think at this point anyone knows the truth aside from David and Madison. Even Kevin Frazier believes that they had to have had a physical relationship prior to the food text, because in what world does a man send you a text like that and he's just shooting his shot? David again talking about, hey, believe what you want, David. Goodbye. All right, to be continued. I'll see y'all next time with another review. Let me know what you think about this episode of Married at First Sight, season 18, episode 19, reunion part 1. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.